So there's been this trend going around recently where people show how much money they spent in the past week. And because this channel is primarily focused on personal finance, and because I want to tap into the YouTube algorithm, I thought what better than to make a video about exactly how much money I spent in the past 7 days. Now, I'm not sure why this is the case, but I don't know anybody in the city of Philadelphia who has a YouTube channel. And so I wanted to show you kind of from my perspective how much I pay for rent, for everything else, for food, and kind of break it down for you so that if you're interested in Philadelphia, if you're looking towards visiting or anything else in between, then this might be of some value. I just thought I'd bring my own 2 cents to the table here. So we're gonna go over some of my fixed weekly costs and then some of the variable costs that come up in the past 7 days. So first of all, let's talk about the big ones here, like my rent. So for this apartment right here, I pay $948 per month, and this is in essentially Center City, which is going to be the most expensive part of the city. But for $948 per month, I find this to actually be a very good deal. And for anybody who lives in the Northeast in major cities, like in New York or Washington, D.C. or Boston, they know that $948 for an apartment in Center City is a pretty good deal. And I find that Philadelphia rents are generally pretty cheap, a hell of a lot cheaper than Los Angeles or San Francisco or a lot of other major cities. And that $948 includes my electricity, includes water, includes sewage, includes everything within that price. So I find it to be a pretty good deal. It comes out to about $223 a week for my rent. Now, I also have 2 phone bills that comes out to $84 per month, which is about $20 per week if you divide by 4.25 from the month to get $20 per week. Now, I have 2 phones. I'm not a drug dealer, but I like to have fast internet as well. So I pay $30 a month for my Wi-Fi. And then I also pay $379 for all of my different types of insurance, for health insurance, dental, everything else in between, which comes out to about $89 per week for insurance. And then I also pay $60 a month for a rock gym, which is not something you can do everywhere, so you kind of have to pay for it unless you live in Colorado. So that's $14 a week. So in total, my fixed costs come out to about $353 per week. Now, this is not including food, this is not including anything else. And you may have noticed that I cut out transportation here as a fixed cost because I don't have a car, as you might already know, and I don't really need one because the city, it's very similar to New York in the sense that it's very congested, but also very dense, and you can walk to pretty much anywhere that you need to go. Any store, any place in the city is an easy walk or maybe a subway ride away. So by not having those transportation costs, it really does free up a lot of cash in my budget to spend on other things. But let's talk about this week and exactly what I spent. So starting with Monday, really on that day, I didn't spend too much. This is what I like to do, where Mondays, I like to do all of my kind of chores that you'd think of. So doing laundry, going grocery shopping, doing all that. I like to do it on Mondays. And I do this because I think a lot of people do it on Sunday or on Saturday during the weekend because they have time off then. But I don't like bumping into everybody in the store or when I'm doing laundry down in the basement here. So I just do it all on Monday. So $1.25 for laundry. I don't use dryers. I just use this little clothing rack thing here. And sure, it does save me like $1 every time, but it's more so just kind of saves energy. And I don't want to shrink my clothes, so I just don't use dryers. And then later on in the day, I went grocery shopping. The problem with where I live is that I can't really walk to Aldi or to Walmart or any other like really inexpensive food place. So I end up with the options of Trader Joe's or Whole Foods. And you know, I end up going with Trader Joe's, so I spent $33 for all of my food for this week, which tends to be kind of less than what I normally spend on food. So generally for a week's worth of food, I might spend maybe $50 for groceries is kind of what I try to aim for. Sometimes I'll go over. This week it was a lot less because I'm gonna clean out my fridge and clean out some of my cabinets and eat some of the food that has just been piling up for the past month or two. Now, I don't really like going to Whole Foods too much because you walk out of Whole Foods with like 1 bag of groceries and you're looking at like $120 somehow. I don't know why. I feel like it's just double the price for not that much more value from what I see. So I like Trader Joe's. But then that's really all I spent for that day. On Tuesday, I didn't spend very much as well. I really just spent $2.50 for the subway in Philadelphia, which is only moderately sketchy, only if you really go at night. And then $2.50 for the way back. I went to the Rock Gym, so that was up in Fishtown, so that took a little bit of a hike to get there. So $5 was my total expenses for Tuesday. And then on Wednesday, I went to Chipotle for lunch. So, I don't mind going out to eat from time to time. I don't mind going and getting some food places. I don't have to cook at home every single time, 3 or 4 times a day. So for Chipotle, it was $9.18. I don't really see a problem with this, especially because generally when I go out to eat somewhere, I like to get the most bang for my buck. I don't know why this is, I've just always done this, but Chipotle, for example, for $9.18, I got like 1,200 calories. So I thought it was a pretty good deal. The one thing I don't like doing is going out to, say, fancy restaurants. I've been to like a couple in my life where maybe it's like $60 for a meal, and then it comes out and it's like this one little tiny piece of fish or like a little tiny crab leg. And by the time you're done eating it, you're more hungry than when you started eating it. Like that's how small the portions are, I don't know. And then you end up spending like $60 or $70. I just don't like eating fancy food. I just don't see the value in it. Maybe that's me. I'm not talking about healthy food. There's a difference paying more money for healthy food. But for fancy food, I just don't really see the point. I don't know. I really don't see the difference between a $30 steak and a $300 steak. I would just go for the $30 one if I was gonna spend some money. So then on Thursday, my sister came down to visit me, so we went to the Reading Terminal, which is something that I would suggest doing if you come to the city. I think most cities have some type of like market. So in New York, there's Chelsea Market. Well, in Philly, we have the Reading Terminal. And so there's a lot of different food options in here. I just got some Gator Gumbo. I think it was like $8.57. But you can get cheesesteaks in here. You can get pretty much anything you could think of. And it's really, really good. I love this place. So if you're gonna come here and you're looking for food or to do something in the city, it's Santrel. And I think it's a cool place. It's a Reading Terminal, okay? And that's all I spent for that day. So it was pretty inexpensive for Thursday. $8.57. And then on Friday, I had a lot of my friends come and visit me, so I had 8 people staying over in my apartment. Probably a bad idea to have that many people in this one apartment, so I ended up taking everybody to get some cheesesteaks because I feel like I do this every week. Like somebody comes and visits and then they want to get some cheesesteaks, so we just do a tour of the city and we end up going to Jim's on South Street. You could also go to Gino's or Pat's or Steve's or pretty much any other like Italian name you can think of has some cheesesteaks here, but they're all really good. And so I go to Jim's is where I take people, and that was like $9.75. And then we went out to some places afterwards, to a couple bars. I don't really go out to drink very much at all, actually almost never, just because I don't really like to. I don't like drinking, but I bought everybody around and there was a $10 cover. So in total, between the round and the cover, it was $64 plus the cheesesteak. The total expenses for Friday was about $73.75, or I totally did that math wrong, I don't know. Probably about $74 or something like that for Friday, which is definitely more than I would spend on a weekend. But I don't have a problem with this because I haven't seen my friends in a really long time, and there's always going to be some expense, whether it's like this, you're going to a hockey game or you're going to an amusement park or something. I generally like to allot maybe like $50 a week for some type of like entertainment thing on the weekend or something. If some friends want to do something, I'm totally willing to pay some money for that because it fits my budget. If I was on a tighter budget, I probably wouldn't go and spend $64 at a bar. I definitely would not do that. But like I said, it's very rare. I'll probably do this like once a month or once every other month, so it's okay and it fits into my budget pretty well. And then the next morning, we went to IHOP. I wasn't gonna, and give everybody peanut butter and jelly or something for breakfast. So we just went to IHOP. It was easier to do that. And it's $13.88 for that. And pro tip here, if you're gonna go out to breakfast, go to Denny's, get the $4 bottomless pancakes. It's a pretty killer deal you can get at Denny's. But no, there's no Denny's around here. So I went to IHOP, still pretty good, $13.88. And then today's Sunday, so we're wrapping up the week. Christmas is coming up right here. And so that is gonna be $8 to get the train back to my parents' house. So in total, for the variable expenses for this week is $152.63. Adding that with the fixed costs, we're looking at about $505.63 for the past 7 days that I've spent. And that's kind of averaging everything out, if we're including rent and everything in there, about $505. Now, I would say this is probably on track for average of what I typically spend. I would say maybe I'll spend a little bit less on some weeks, but then other times I'll spend a lot more. And that's because I do a lot of traveling. As maybe you know, if you've seen some videos before on this channel, or if you've seen me on Instagram anywhere, you'll know that I do quite a bit of traveling. But the way that I do this is I factor it into my budget by just setting aside 5% of my post-tax income towards a travel fund. So even though I didn't go anywhere this week, I took 5% of my income after taxes and I put it toward the travel fund, so that in a couple of weeks, I think I'm gonna go to Mexico, or I might go back to Europe for a little bit, and I'll have that money kind of set aside and allotted for those trips and that travel. So that's another part of my budget as well. But that's essentially how I spent money this week. Like I said, I'll go out to eat from time to time. I'm not against it. As long as you're not doing it all the time and you're making a lot of food at home, I think that's a big thing that's gonna save you money. I also save a ton of money just on transportation because I'm able to walk everywhere. I know a lot of people need cars because they live in maybe rural areas or suburban areas and they don't have great public transportation. That's understandable. That's just from my perspective, from my point here, that I end up saving a lot of money, I think, because I'm single, I don't have any like kids, I don't have dependents, and so it's just, you know, I save a lot of money because of that, because I just don't know where else to spend the money on. So that's it. That's how much I spend in Philadelphia for this week. Maybe we'll do a video next week about how much I spend over the course of this entire 2019. If you're interested in that, let me know down in the comment section below. Thanks for subscribing, thanks for dropping a like, and I'll see everybody in the next video.